Well, folks, my apologies. I was hoping to have this report up a couple days ago, and also please excuse the traffic noise. I'm at an access point and I'm near some trees, so once in a while the red squirrels have a fit. So if they hear them chattering, they're just yelling at me. Let's get a couple announcements out of the way. First up, if you're interested in some steelhead fishing, our friend George has a few dates available in his calendar. So get a contact with me. I'll put you in touch with George, and we do some steelhead fishing. He likes to fish down in the Douglaston Salmon Run, which can be very good and excellent in October. We've gotten into a few steelhead already, so the prognosis is apparently looking pretty good. That plus, I got some fly assortment fly boxes that some of you might be interested in. I think I still have a couple of boxes with the comments, and I got a couple woolly bugger boxes, and I got a box that's about a dozen of those really nice intruder streamers. They'll come in a nice little fly box, so just contact us if you're interested. We're charging $125 for the box. The bugger box and the comet box is 4 dozen when it comes with the box. I've tied them personally, and the shank intruder flies are some really cool Chinook swinging flies. Plus, they've done their share of damage on a steelhead. There's a dozen of those things built into there, so that's all at 125, and all comes in a box. So if you're interested in helping out the YouTube channel, just drop us a note, and we'll get the fly boxes off to you. We are working on a web store connected to the channel, so it'll make it a little easier to get this stuff. But right now, we got to do it old school. I'm kind of old, so we'll do it old school. But anyways, that's it for the announcements, other than the fact that if you're interested in our spay casting clinic next year, we're thinking of doing it again next year. If you're interested, drop us an email. You can use the Lost River email, my personal email, and we'll put you on a mailing list that we'll send out in June or July, and we put it together. So we're still right now in the planning to do that casting clinic again. So that takes care of the announcements. Let's get on to the fishing. Well, as I'm talking about the fishing, I think what I'm going to do is probably plug in a couple videos from the hatchery. The hatchery it's not full or stuffed with fish, so it's got a good load of fish to make it interesting, let's say. But they're not overflowing with fish yet. But they got a bunch of fish up there, so I took some shots. I got some really cool shots from the hatchery collection tanks. I'll probably put them on while I'm babbling. You don't have to look at me in the back of the truck with all the gear. So really not much has changed. We're still having these very slow, light trickles of fish coming in. I thought it would have ramped up by now, but they're very light. In fact, for a couple of days, I don't think maybe 100 fish came into the bottom end of the river, to be honest with you. Some night runs that come in, so with the amount of light fishing that's coming in, I am surprised how well the Douglaston Salmon Run is fishing for the amount of fish that are coming in. There's a fair amount of resident fish holed up in a few holding pools on the DSR, and around that, plus the spawning starting, so some of the gravel's got some fish in there that are starting to hold. So, but there's just not a lot of fish coming in. So once they get out of the DSR, they get really spread out to the rest of the run. And so it's kind of hit and miss all the way through the main river. The real concentration of fish is the upper fly zone. I mean, the upper fly zone's been collecting fish for about a month and a half now, so it's got a good chug of fish up there. They're starting to spawn up there as well. So the egg bite up there is starting. Egg-sucking leeches are working pretty good too up there. But anyways, that's probably the biggest concentration of fish is in the upper fly zone. It's also the biggest concentration of fishing pressure. So most of the people are up there. That's actually probably the most concentrated amount of people. The lower fly zone is not really all that full. There's travel through there. So there is some fish holding in, like the bridge pool and cemetery. They are definitely, by the time they get there, they're crabby. So this kind of, for the upper river, I'd say like the upper river through the fly zones, what you're going to want to do is maybe fish a lighter tippet, like 8-pound, and some small little wet flies. I like to tie them on like size 4 wets, size 6 wets, like on a salmon hook. Classic wet, some little soft hackles are working. Then the next day, it's big buggers and leeches, intruders. And some days, at some point, they all work. So the biggest thing is play around with your presentation. Yeah, one fish will want a dead drift, another fish will want a swing. Some fish want a hard swing, a soft swing, a sloppy dead, or clean drift. One fish is going on a naked light. So you got what you have to do is just go up there, get into a spot where you're comfortable, where there's some fish, and just start playing with them. And eventually, one of them will grab. But it's kind of, they're just moody. It's very typical of them up there. It's not the fishing part. It's just salmon that's been hanging out in the river for a long period of time. So they get very moody. So you just got to really tinker with them to get a bite, get your bites. The lower river, when they first come in on the DSR, the swing has been working pretty good. Actually, the swing's been working quite well. So the approach down there is that early, first thing in the morning, we hit travel corridors. What few fish at night ran or they're moving, the small handful of fish that come in, we kind of work the travel corridors. And then about late morning, early afternoon, that shuts right down. And then what we do is we shift into holding water. So we go to some of these pools that'll collect these fish and hold them for a while. Then we get in there and we start working that water. So the bite really slows down in the afternoon. There's obviously a lot of fish down there spawning too, but you know, we're still looking for quality fish. So we've been fishing the corridors and the holding waters, and yeah, getting our fish there. But here again, the swing's been working good. A lot of my guys like to swing, so we've been fishing on the swing, and we've been doing okay. We've been picking them up on some small intruders, egg-sucking leeches, some large size 4 woolly buggers. Well, we've been fishing a lot of 4 buggers because I can't get my size 6 hook tied to smaller woolly bugger, so kind of out of them. So we've been fishing a lot of 4s, but it's been working. We're getting our bites. I can still stay a little heavier tippet down there. You know, even though I'm using a fluorocarbon, I can get away with like 10 or 12 some days, and we can get our bites that way. So the DSR is fishing surprisingly well for the amount of fish that are moving in. It seems to have collected a group of fish in there. It's doing okay, you know, with all things being considered. So that's kind of what's up. Water flows are still at 335 release with a bobby about 75. So we got like 420 at Pineville, something around there, fluctuating a little bit. So we're at a normal standard water flow. It's not low, it's standard. So that's kind of what's going on with the water flows. Temperatures are, just killed a mosquito. Water temperatures in the low 60s, which is pretty good. We're starting to have really some cold nights this coming week. We got some wet coming. It's going to be just wet enough to be irritating. You know, some passing showers probably through the week. So we'll see what that does. The reservoir is quite low, so unless we get some real monsoon rains, we're not going to see much of a bump in the water flows, but at least it'll be maintenance, and we could use that. Hopefully some cooler weathers and a wind shift, and at some point these fish are going to come in. The word out in the lake is there's a lot of fish sitting out there just kind of staged out waiting to run. They just haven't come. So at some point they're going to go. That kind of makes me think of a comment that kind of acquaintance, he's a little bit more an acquaintance. He's more of I consider him as part of my friend group. His name is Fran Viraliva. He was a guide way back in the day for me, what I call the day. He guided on this river. He did a career, just recently retired. He did a career with the DEC, with the Fisheries Department. His office was in Altmar. And one of the things Fran always said was at some point around Columbus Day weekend, we will see a run. And he is right. I mean, I can't remember a time around Columbus Day we didn't get a slug of fish. So they're gonna come. They're overdue. I hope they show up tomorrow. But by the time you see this video, it'll be early week, which I apologize again. I was hoping to have it to you so you can see it for the weekend, but got busy with fishing and everything else. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more, or try to do the best I can getting the fishing reports out. I have working on a fishing video. We had a chance to shoot a little while back. I'm trying to get that edited up. So as a result, if you want to keep up on the reports and you want to see the video, as always, there's a little like and subscribe button. Hit that. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the like icon, because or the subscribe icon. Because when you hit that, you'll get a notification when I put a new video up. So once again, folks, a few people stopped and said hello that watched the channel. Thank you for saying hello. And while I'm thinking about it, we have fly boxes. So if you're interested in some of the fly boxes that we use to support the channel, get in contact with us. We still have a few of the salmon fly boxes with the comets. I got some bugger boxes and even got some of the intruder boxes that I've tied myself. So once again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this thing. I can use all the help I can get, and see everybody on the river, folks. Good fishing to you. It will get better. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.